You have entered the realms of the gods. So give us your mind and your full attention.
So you say you deal with esoteric information? I never heard of such.
Well, you're in for a treat.
Blog talk, this is the blog talk. Alim, El-Bey dropping jewels every day. Blog talk, this is the blog talk. Metaphysical, we deal with the spiritual. Blog talk, this is the blog talk. Alim, El-Bey dropping jewels every day. Blog talk, this is the blog talk. Metaphysical, we deal with the spiritual. So you claim to be a god?
Damn right I'm a god. The maker, the owner, cream of the planet Earth, father of civilization, god of the universe. Wow, I didn't know that. Wow, I didn't know that. Wow, I didn't know that. Wow, I didn't know that.
So tune in or lose, friend. All strategies applied mathematically. The information he drop is real powerful. So get your notepad, it's more than an hour full. Watch your jaw, the crew is watching talk. Indigenous to the land wherever we stand. First world order, we bringing it home in the first quarter. Invisible lines don't apply, we cross borders. Silly rabbit, knowledge for gods. No matter where you reside, lodge, temple, or mosque. So don't fret or proceed with hesitation. Just tune in to Blog Talk to get the information. Peace.
Yeah. HED, above the dome, trap of freedom, it's family, tradition, heritage, the missing links, spiritual miracles, the awakenings, the walking sphinx. It's time to eat, food for thought, it's the meta magician. Holy rainwater flows off my altar, channel through the seasons, elevate the reasons. What's the purpose of life to the living? Death to the conscious. At the end of days, clash of the titans. Zombies running rampant, Christ in the pamper. Looking for a lamp, revving at the church, plugging in the amp. Rock of the ages, son of the undead, vamping immortal rage. I bleed red ink on the page. Words and truth, no signature. To the blur from invisible literature. Sitting at the dock of the bay with Otis, having rituals. Turn the lights off, it can get real quick, sir. Melting pot mix, I'm in search for a fix. Walking backwards, looking forwards, patiently waiting. Don't ignore it, holding true swords like peace signs aimed at your board.
Want to be caught in the trap of freedom. Do you want to be lost in the trap of freedom? Do you want to be caught in the trap of freedom? Do you want to be lost in the trap of freedom?
Darkness to light, walk into flight, hawk eyesight, interdimensional terabytes. Fuel for the journey, some late a fuel for the gurney. Colored in the book of law, no need for attorneys. I turn the page, feel the script like a doctor coming out the cage. I'm the lion, fed grain, sticks and stones, no pain. Or workers only workers gain, attempting to keep my inner sane. With lifestyle changes, highs and mountain plains. 7 thoughts, 7 vaults, no faults, who's to blame? It ain't the same, they taking names. I feel the sun, it ain't no fun if the homie can't have none. I see you run like Hussein lightning. It seems frightening, exciting. I go with streaming lightning. I'm the Nickelodeon at night.
You want to be caught in the trap of freedom? Do you want to be lost in the trap of freedom? Do you want to be caught in the trap of freedom? Do you want to be lost in the trap of freedom?
Yeah, time, space is obsolete. Locate the unlocal, way above, yet so below. The permanency of non-movement, ATV, above the dome, trap of freedom. Blackwater, the meta magician. Mad science is on the track. Peace.
Peace. Back once again with your host, Dr. El-Bey. And you are here tuning into First World Radio. No doubt I'll be back once again. That's every week at 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. And before I go any further, you should know the topic for tonight. This is actually part 2. All right? This is actually part 2. All right, this is targeted individuals. mind control, nanotech, as in technology, that's nanobots, everything dealing with that, and wave beams, all right? And we're going to be getting into this discussion tonight, and we have, just like we did the first part, we have several individuals who have been targeted, and they will give their experiences and talk more about what is going on and why are so many people hearing voices or feeling their body heat up and all of these different things that we're going to get into discussion tonight. But before I get into the topic, let me bring on my co-host, Brother Fahim. This is Grand Sheik Brother Fahim, Professor Fahim L, as I refer to him as Professor L. Are you here, brother?
Hey, how are you, Washington East? Thank you, brother. All right, doing fine, brother.
How you doing tonight? All right.
Doing well, my good brother.
Good. All right. We're going to get into that topic tonight, Brother L. Like I said, this is part 2. We got some good information out the first time, and matter of fact, a lot of people have been calling us over the last few weeks, talking about, how they have been hearing voices, and it's not a spiritual attack, because they can tell the difference. It is something that is coming externally, coming from, some say, the military or et cetera. We're trying to find out exactly what is going on and get the word out to the people that they definitely need to pay attention to these symptoms, because many people are going to the psychologists and the psychiatrists and finding out that they don't know what they're doing, because they are labeling them as being schizophrenic, and they'll label them as being deranged, mentally deranged. And so what we're trying to do here is separate those who are labeled schizophrenic from those who are actually targeted individuals or targeted experimental individuals. Because right now, it is stated to be experimental before they take it to the grand scale, and that is controlling the masses based on the technology. All right, this is where we're going at. This is the RFID chips, which we heard about in the 80s and the 90s. That was reported that would be smaller than a grain of rice, or that, would be implanted in the right hand or in the forehead, or that has been bypassed. There's individuals who actually have those type of implants, and I've met several who have what we refer to as RFID chips. And, of course, anyone can look that information up. But Dr. Phil Valentine was a good friend of mine, and I refer to him as Baba Phil Valentine, because he definitely put his time in. He's one of the first ones to bring to the conscious community this information that has been proven. He brought a brother in by the name of Brian Wong, and Brian was in prison. And while he was in prison, he received these implants. And Dr. Phil, Baba Phil, took him to the hospital or the doctor in order to find out what can be done about removing these implants. And the doctor told him specifically that whoever put that there, meant for it to stay there. And I have a wife and children, and I'm not touching it. All right, so now there's a recent video that he did. I don't know if it's still up, that Brian Wong did. And this, when this happened, this was actually over 20 some odd years ago when Baba Phil Valentine brought this information to the forefront about the RFID chips. already being implanted, because everybody was saying, oh, it's coming, it's coming, it's coming. No, it was already here during that time period, or I should say during it was there. And so now it'll move to nanobot-technology, and we're going to get into more of that information. The first time that I remember hearing about Big Brother's watching you and / the mark of the beast, as they refer to it as, and it was correlating to Revelations, the 13th chapter, of course, and how the mark of the beast would be put in your right hand and put in your forehead, all of these types of things. And they brought forth the information about Big Brothers, and how they would use that technology, these chips, and that even now they're saying that by 2017, everyone will be chipped based on the Obama care plan, as they refer to it as. And that's one of the reasons why the Obama care plan is suffering, is because that information has been leaked out as far as on the media, in particular Facebook. All right, so let me go to the phone lines and see. Area code 608. Area code 608.
How you doing, Alim? This is Corey.
Peace.
Peace, brother Corey. How you doing?
I'm doing good. How about you?
Doing well. All right. I just wanted to give a little brief info on what's been going on. And like I was telling you earlier, that my first experience hearing about it was in the early 80s. I was watching with a group of other children a Christian TV show. Well, actually, it wasn't really a TV show. It was a movie that they had. And it was like, basically the scenario of what is in the book of Matthew, the 24th chapter in the book of Revelations, where it speaks about, there are going to be people who are going to be raptured up, and then there's people in which that would be around in order to see the seven plagues take place. It was that type of movie. So in the movie, they showed us that there was people running off into the woods attempting to get away from those who would want to implant them with these chips. And this was in a movie that was back in the 80s, a Christian movie. So that was in the early 80s. So that was like my first time even getting that type of information. Mm-hmm. And that was probably one of the movies that sparked me, or TV shows that, movies that sparked me to even get into this information as far as the conspiracies was involved, So I mean, that is something in which, of course, I continue studying. And, of course, we went through Monarch, we went through MK Ultra, MK Delta, and a lot of this stuff was revealed in the 1970s with the CIA getting busted for doing these experiments since the 1950s, the mid-1950s on up into the 60s and 70s when they got busted. What do you want to add on as far as this is concerned about targeted experimental people or individuals and this mind control and this nanotechnology and wave beams in which that is being aimed at these targeted individuals?
Well, yes. What are you asking me? Or the other brother?
Yeah, I was asking Corey.
Okay, you was asking you. Okay.
I'm not sure I have much to touch on besides what I did before. A lot of what I have learned has been through the people themselves and through research, So I had contact some people that I had known, some veterans that had been doing this for a long time. When I had found out about what was exactly going on with me, So I had learned some things from them, and they had guided me. So hopefully they have tuned in. God bless them if they have. And I would really like for their stories to be heard, you know.
Right. Well, we do have area code 401. Area code 401. You're on the air. Greetings. Area code 401. Okay, Corey, I don't know if there was anyone in which that you're going to bring on with area code 401. If so, you're on the line. Or, greetings, can you hear me?
Robert can't hear you. Robert.
Yeah, sometimes they play. Sometimes there's people that play games too, because our phones are tapped. So they like to play games. So I don't know if whether that's the case or not. I don't remember everybody I had contacted or Gloria has contacted. That could be going on.
That could be it. Yeah.
All right, for those that that is with Brother Corey that needs to come on and talk about targeted individuals, mind control, nanotech, and wave beings, you can give us a call at 626-414-3535. That's 626-414-3535. Give us a call, and then if you need to speak, hit 1. All right, hit 1 on your phone, and we'll bring you in. All right, we have area code 484. Area code 484. You're on the line. Area code 484.
Yes, I'm here. I had to unmute myself.
Okay.
Sister Gloria, greetings, everyone. Peace. I was here last week.
Hey, how you doing?
Good. I'm doing good. But, you know, when you look back at this, when you start, you know, putting the pieces together, because in the beginning you are so traumatized that you're like, you're looking this way, you're looking here, you're looking there, you're thinking this, you're thinking that, ooh, all kinds of stuff. This has been going on for a long, 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 long time. And when they had the Nuremberg trials in Germany, when they had those Nuremberg trials after the supposedly Jewish Holocaust, they selected the scientists that they wanted that the United States wanted during the trials. They would put a paper clip on his folder, on his file. That was called Operation Paperclip. That's when they brought those German scientists to the United States. All of them. They're in NASA, and they're everywhere. A lot of our corporations, we funded the war over there, the Holocaust. It was funded. Ford Motor Company, Bayer Aspirin, you know, just big companies, yeah. So this has been an ongoing, from the very beginning, they've always experimented on us. From the very beginning.
Right, Operation Paperclip, in Operation Paperclip, also not just from NASA, and many of those scientists were from Germany, but also the CIA. So that is the connection.
That's right. And look at George Bush. He was CIA. He's president. You know? So you kind of like, what the hell?
Right.
But I've done some research about that, and all these guys, they're related. All the presidents are related.
And he had Kennedy killed. the driver turned around and popped him. I think Dr. Bill Cooper touches on that because he was going to give the petition to the Federal Reserve he was going to bring out a silver standard.
Yes, and he also spoke about the secret societies.
Right.
You know, so what I really, really find hard to grasp is we have these talking heads. They've all popped up. You know, I haven't been familiar with them for a while. I heard of them, but now they're on the internet. And Dr. Boyce Watkins, the gentleman from News One, I used to get up in the morning and watch him. The little round fat guy, what's his name? Well, anyhow, he's on News One. And they're talking and talking and talking, and no one even touches this. No one, and I know we have written letters. I have a copy of a letter that we wrote to the President of the United States Freedom from Covert Harassment and Surveillance, a support group. Wrote it to the President, and it appeared in one of the local newspapers, one of the free papers, but nobody saw, it's like the mind control. A lot of that's done by the Navy. They have something called the patch, and they can completely scribe for the brain waves of everyone up in your community, in your block, right on your block. And when you walk out of your house to go to your car, you start seeing all this. What the hell is going on? Everybody at the same time walks out of the house. You know, it's weird, but that's what they're able to do. And why hasn't this hit the forefront? Why haven't our talking heads? Al Sharpton, I spoke to him face to face, and at the time I was just pulled into the program a few months. I was nervous. I was scared as hell, but I drove up to North Philadelphia because I live outside of the city, but I drove up to North Philadelphia and spoke to him face to face. And I said, all I know what is happening to me now, it's something called psychotronic weapons. Ooh, psychotronic weapons. Ooh, do you know about that? Write that down. We'll get in touch with you on Monday. Nothing.
You don't care. That's what.
But what is it? I mean, these people, they call themselves our leaders. I don't claim the shit.
No,
I don't claim them. Right.
False leaders in high places.
Exactly.
High authority or figures on TV. You know, the camera can make you God.
But Roland Martin, that's his name. Roland Martin. Now, he had the nerve to step out on Snoop Dogg. I think it was about voting? Maybe, but, you know, he has these fits with people. Nick Cannon, how dare him come out with a rap the way he, you know, who in the hell are you, Roland? I have no respect for these people because something in my heart of hearts tell me, you niggas know what's going on, but you paid to shut up. You're paid to be quiet. Thank you for listening.
Thank you, sister.
That's exactly what's going on. That is exactly what's going on. And when you talk about these individuals, you know, we have to look at the boule, which Father Steve Coakley dropped, you know, years ago. I was one of his first students when he started dropping on the boule back in the early 90s, mid-90s. And I can say that the whole situation with these individuals and the reason why they get the airtime, they get the shows, because look at, you know, Al Sharpton. He's called a reverend, but yet he never held the position in the church as a reverend. Never had a church. But yet was a community activist and got blown up off the Tawana Brawley case, which, come to find out, was fraud. It never happened. You know, that was a red flag that they was doing back in the damn, 90s. You know, and so he blew up off of that. Even him and Jesse Jackson, when he was running for president, I remember Jesse Jackson saying some words about Al Sharpton. Al Sharpton came back real sly and cunning on camera and said, don't let me bring up the situation about you smearing Dr. Martin Luther King's blood on your shirt. So these individuals, are definitely, a problem. Definitely a problem. As far as within the conscious community, they're not leaders. They are civil rights
charlatans,
activists who's trying to keep you right. Charlatans who are trying to keep us from gaining human rights. Because as long as we don't gain human rights, then we can be experimented on. Because we're not looked at in the world as human beings. And so-called Negroes, blacks, and coloreds, so-called Negroes, blacks, and coloreds are, by law, civil small twos, which means dead in the eyes of the law. So we talk about the living dead, literally, the zombies. That all these zombie movies are talking about is really, in a sense, metaphor for us and our mindset and our mind state. And these individuals get paid off to keep us deaf, dumb, and blind. This is how Al Sharpton get paid, to keep the community in a state of chaos, with his, civil rights. We need civil rights. We need a vote. Knowing damn well that neither one of these things, give us any option as far as human rights is concerned. And Malcolm said it best, as long as we're looked at as not as human beings, and you talk about civil rights, then your fight is worthless. It's not until that we gain human rights and looked at as being human beings, and civil rights comes automatically once that is done. Otherwise, we're fighting for nothing, So this is even why Martin Luther King told Harry Belafonte, because he started realizing that civil rights was not the way to go. And this is why they killed him, because he started getting into human rights. The poor program that he was doing, against the Vietnam War, all these things is now getting into human rights. He was getting away from civil rights. He was getting into world politics. He wanted to start being recognized as a human being. He said the boundaries of the Constitution is not clear. Now we're going into the field of human rights. And this is in his book, Community, Chaos of Community. So, all of them started coming to this conclusion. And we have to come to that conclusion, too, so that we can start at least paper-wise doing something against, what is happening here. I know there's a FOIA, which is Freedom of Information Act, which that you can actually write, in order to see what files do the FBI or government have on you. And I think
did
that's
that.
One of the first things that, What did you receive back?
What I received was, hey, we don't have anything to do with this. This is your state and county. Your state and county. And years ago, I lived in a HUD development, and I was the president of the Residence Council, which I now feel, I know the Ridley Township Police Department put my name on the list because an incident occurred in the development, and they pulled a gun on a 14-year-old boy. He was standing outside putting trash out and had a pair of underwear on. So I became the spokesperson for the community because the police officer pulled a gun on him, and the little boy was so traumatized. We walked in the house. He sat down. He put his head in the pillow, and just started crying. And his mother, what's going on? And he told her what happened. So she came and got me, and this is what happened. He said, I was just putting the trash out, and the policeman had his gun there. He said, I thought he was going to kill me. He said, I thought he was going to shoot. And I just held my hands up and had the trash can lid in his hand. So someone from Harrisburg, which is our capital, called me. Her name was Ada Monteiro. That's the only time I heard from her a few times while this process was going on. She said, I understand you're the community leader down there. I said, well, I speak up when necessary. So she asked me if I would go to the commissioners' meeting. The public can sit in for a half hour, the first half hour. Go and give a brief statement. That's it. She said, write it down, keep it on paper, read off the paper, and go sit down. Well, in the meantime, the next town over was predominantly melanin-rich, copper people all over. 3 ministers called and said, hey, we're going to give you a hand. They came also, and then the community, 75 residents came out. So it was like, who in the hell is this woman? Because they've never had a meeting where any of us showed up, but then to come in with such a force as that, you know, they were like, I know. They were like, who is she? So from then on, I started noticing when I looked back over it, little things. My car was getting scratched. It was always a scratch. And then at one point, I thought I heard someone walking over my head. That was, you know, it was so bad, I hired a private detective to come into the hood and climb in my crawl space and see what was going on. He said, there's nothing going on. There's a firewall up there. So at that point, when I look at it now, I was being set up. That was the beginning of the setup. And then as you go through life, you think you're living, you know, there's a lot of manipulation. When you look back over things, especially someone that's targeted, now you can see clearly now. You can see clearly. And when I moved home with my mother, I can remember a few nights, the room I was in, it felt like the walls were, and when I would, what the hell? And then get up and look around, there's nothing. So I never mentioned it. And they just gradually start doing things to you. And then at that point, you're frightened as hell. Because they lower the boom and hit you with that one knock. That first hit you get.
Don't they put us on a blacklist? Amy Anderson had something about a blacklist that each and every one of our representatives know who's on that list. They know each and every one of us.
Well, the fusion centers have our names.
Okay.
You know, there's one in Norristown, Pennsylvania. That's where my daughter lives. You know, to me it looks like a town of zombies because they're taking over. That's mind control. I refused to let the mind control me. I refused. I didn't stop working. I didn't try to apply for anything. I just stayed steady. And then I met Brother Will I Am. He, you know, was teaching universal law, and I got that through the Legacy of a Nation. And I've been just ascending ever since, you know, just up, up, up. So pretty soon I'll be up and away. So thank you for listening.
Thank you.
Well, definitely. Thank you. Brother L, you have any comments that you want to make concerning this situation? Brother Fahim?
They went out?
I was asking, did you have any comments that you want to make concerning this conversation about the discussion?
Yeah, I was listening to her when she was talking about the was this a mind control experiments they were trying to do on you, or trying to make you think that something was going on with the walls, or I'm speaking to the lady there.
Yeah, they use the technology they use. They have something like it's microwave weaponry, and they have microwave audio, which you can be laying in your bed and then you'll hear someone walking up your stairs. The sound of someone's footsteps, and it can frighten the hell out of you if you don't know what's going on. If you haven't read about this or discussed it with someone, they have a way of shooting holograms out.
Okay.
And with the holograms, and then you're being radiated or microwaved, which heats you up. That one night, it looked like my toenails were on fire. And you see the flames, and I could feel the heat. And I pull the covers up off of my feet, and I'm like, oh, shit. You know, and so you just get up and go to the bathroom and wash your feet off and go back to bed. And then
They're probably messing with your cerebral cortex.
Well, whatever they was messing with, they was, they was hitting it. And then everyone in the community, you don't see them, or there's no communication whatsoever. Not that I was so chummy with everyone, but I did have a group called Girl Talk. I think that was another reason. Girl Talk, HIV/AIDS prevention. Mm-hmm. And it was growing, and I had a plan. And I felt that big pharmaceutical, no way in hell, did they want me to continue with that.
Yeah, they have that kind of technology. That's why I believe what you're saying. Yes, the hologram. They sure do.
It is so deep. It is so deep. I have a hermit crab, and I don't know what they do to jar him at night, but the first time I saw it was last night. There was a frequency coming through. Well, I usually cope with it. I a lot of times just put my radiation pillow to my head and start meditating and let it do what it's going to do, because I'm going somewhere else. And but my poor crab just stretched open so wide. I'm like, are you changing shells or what's going on? And so I don't know. I don't know if they do it at night, but someone said there's something going on.
Oh, yeah, there's definitely something going on. During the Vietnam era, a lot of servicemen I served with, they were saying that they were putting what they were giving them certain chemical, not a chemical, but a certain pill called BTUs, and what it would do, it would make them fight harder. Yeah, make them fight harder. Let them be ignore certain fatigue, sleepiness, something like that, and they will not
make
sleep
them
for
super
days.
soldiers.
Yes.
Yeah, that's a program now.
Did the same thing in Iraq. I talked to a young man who was in Iraq, the Iraq War, and said that he had so many shots he couldn't even count, over 90 shots. And there are many stories of the soldiers over there that literally they were raged, so raged that they were shooting women and children, innocent women and children, just given orders. And some of them can't even recall doing it.
Exactly.
Alim, about that young man who had shot up that theater, And if you look at the young man in the courtroom, he's looking like, what's going on? Why am I here? Why am I here?
Right. So they're still doing that, I presume.
Mm-hmm.
Giving them some type of problems or something's in the vaccines. What's going on with the vaccines? Where are they putting in city water? They've talked about putting lithium in the city water to make people docile. To make people docile. So what's really going on with
lithium? Lithium, if I'm not mistaken, is an element that's in batteries.
Lithium, yes. We went to Afghanistan. I believe it's Afghanistan. They found over $1 trillion in lithium in the ground, which we use for cell phones. So cell phones are benefiting off of oppression of people, third world countries.
Now, is that a coincidence that the cell phone oscillates? It's no coincidence that the cell phone oscillates at the same rate as the brain, which is 80 megahertz.
Right. They even say that they can use, some of them believe there's programs where they can use cell phones to tap into your brain waves. I don't know if that's fact, but what I've learned, anything's possible. I mean, who would have thought we'd be talking on telephones? If you say that in the 1700s, somebody would think you're nuts.
Right. Exactly.
So when you learn that these people have been in contact with whoever they're in contact with in realms that are maybe not human, what type of technology are they gaining from them so they can test on human beings? They're probably 150, 200, 300 years more advanced. Who really knows?
Right,
we just get the hand-me-down. Right. We get the hand-me-downs.
Go ahead. Okay, what I was saying is, a lot of this technology has been out here. I've been out for 30, maybe 40, maybe 50 years, and it's just now getting to the public. So I don't know what the NSA or CIA, whoever, what kind of technology they have now.
Right.
Like the smartphones, Facebook, iPads. I know they have something far advanced than those.
Smart meters, they can look through your house. Your electric meters outside.
Or they can see you through your televisions.
Oh, sure. It's as if you're in a science fiction movie.
Yeah, things you used to see on science fiction. Yeah, things we used to see on science fiction movies. Years ago, back in the '60s. When things.
Sure.
The things we used to see like Facebook. When you're talking to somebody or you talk to somebody on the phone, you can see their face and they can see yours. This was back in the '60s and late '50s. On these certain movies, that they have like science fiction movies and things like that. But now you have Facebook. Now you have cell phones where you can see who you've been talking to.
Sure, they were giving you a heads up. A lot of things they've done, we were talking, a group of us was talking one day, and they said they're going to continue to come out with these Avatar movies and this kind of movie, and you and your friend will be walking down the street, and they'll say, oh, look, that's a blue person. Oh, man, that's just an avatar. And you just keep on moving, So it's out there. There's on StopTheCrime.net, there's a document called Silent Weapons for Quiet Wars.
Yes.
And it's all about social engineering.
Yes.
Yes.
Isn't that what
as a matter of fact,
correct?
That same document was in Behold the Pale Horse by William Bill Cooper.
Yeah.
That same exact document was in the book by William Cooper. That was an urban classic, Behold the Pale Horse. So for those that want to read it, get the book. You can download the PDF. It's an excellent book. You know?
Yes, it is.
And see, and see, when we talk about frequencies, we have to talk about the way that the body, the cellular structure oscillates. You know, because that's what we're really talking about as far as the body is electric. All right, so if the body is electric, then you should feed it alkaline, not lithium, but alkaline, which is electric nutrition, because alkaline is energy. And we've come to find out that anything over, that no disease can exist in the body at 7.4 pH balance or power hydrogen or balance, you know, pH balance, which is 7.4. The disease can't exist. So viruses, germs, bacteria, which are the manifestation of disease, can't live in an alkaline environment. So an alkaline diet promotes a disease-free body and mind, and maintaining a proper pH balance within your body, you know, while providing energy, it provides health, wellness. That is essential, you know, to be able to bypass these particular frequencies. So increasing your energy, that's the main thing, and that's what alkalinity does, and it enhances your nutrient absorption, and it eases the digestion. So, you know, we have to understand that. And some of the foods that's the most alkaline is key limes, lemons, watermelon, grapefruits, mangoes, papayas. Make sure they're not from Hawaii, which is GMO'd, asparagus, onions, vegetable juice or juices, parsley. These are some of the more, you know, even some of the things that Dr. Sabi don't agree with, like, raw spinach or garlic and broccoli. They can
spinach
be
is very, very acidic.
Alkaline foods. Huh?
I said spinach is very acidic.
Well, it can be, but that's why I said raw spinach. It's not. Okay. Now, when you cook it, that's when it is very acidic. But if it's raw, that's a little bit different. So, you know, of course, okra, squash, green beans, beets, you know, of course, minimize them because of the sugar content, celery, zucchini. I mean, you know, avocados, we can go on. You know, figs, dates, melons, grapes, you know, certain berries, you know, apples, pears, et cetera, So these are just some of the more alkaline foods that we need to have on a daily basis, you know. And I'm just saying that because all of us have melanin, and melanin, you know, may be viewed as a battery, you know, that is, you know, basically partially charged, but is always able to receive an electrical charge because it's only partially charged. So when we step out into the sun, you see sunlight or other energies come in contact, you know, with this melanin battery. It increases the charge of the battery to a certain degree if the energies are positive. You know, in the case of which that we're talking about, these are detrimental waves that are being thrown at the human body. However, when the positive waves are captured, you know, when the energies is captured, the battery has more energy to use. You know, basically this means that the human body can charge up the melanin process because it's a unique ability to absorb various energy sources, and you can actually convert these absorbed energies into reusable energy, you know, such as music vibration, sound waves, the sun rays, sun heat, light waves, etc. And I remember reading this book. It was Dr. Frank Bars. He had a theory that basically states that matter is structured, is shaped and structured by light. And basically that these molecular molecules eat light, in particular melanin, through its melanocytes eat light in order to maintain, expand, and evolve matter. So the more highly evolved the species, and this is the key point, the more highly evolved the species, because we all have to raise our vibratory rate, the more complex the biological capacity is to use light. So that's what we have to get back to, is utilizing light. And this is why, you remember the movie Matrix, Morpheus shows Neo a Duracell battery and told Neo that this is all we are to them, talking about the machines. You know, so true, we are a battery, but a battery needs to be alkaline. And when the battery is alive and the output and the electrical charge is there, it's alkaline. But when it's dead, when the battery is dead, it's acidic. So, you know, we just have to understand chemistry and biology 101, you know, for us to get back into, you know, gaining control over these types of things. And this, and Brother Corey, and I know that was one of your things, you know, you was deep into everything was organic, everything, you know, talk about the diet aspect to this.
Right. Sorry, I have to get another phone because my phone's dying. But pretty much, you touched bases on a lot, especially the diet aspect. You know, trying to eat the electrical food, because we come from the earth. We are electrical beings. So we need that, and that's where the meditation and qigong and that comes into play too. So we can filter out that dirty energy or dirty mind. And a lot of us, you know, I guess due to money, a lot of people have been put in a position where, you know, they eat a lot of chips or whatever it may be. A lot of this stuff is put in, like, they're putting stuff in there which is making us addicted. Literally, people are becoming addicted to food like an alcoholic is to alcohol. You know, the cravings. So, what are these? If you can't read it, you know, what is it? What is it? You know, if I eat like let's say I eat a pear or it's organic, you know, it's an apple. That's what I know it contains. Besides what's within it. A good friend of mine said, you know, if you're craving a steak, like meat is very actually poisonous to our system. It's very acidic, or even cooked vegetables. You know, when you cook your vegetables, it actually, the body produces more red blood cells, which then your body actually starts attacking itself when you're not alkaline. So literally your body will start eating itself away because it's acid. Acid eats anything, you know. It breaks things down, no matter what it is. So by getting the right, like Himalayan salt, I think I've shared with a lot of people about Himalayan salt and how just water and salt can help cure cancer, help prevent cancer. You know, not like table salt, but like Celtic salt, black salt, stuff like that. You know, same thing with baking soda. Baking soda, you know, you got to keep it easy on it, but it's alkaline in its own nature. So they're even doing like a baking soda treatment overseas in Europe, where they have found like cancer. We're having big things with cancer, that it's actually a fungus. It's not hereditary in the blood. It's actually a fungus. It grows. So what they'll do is they'll expose the tumor, whatever it may be, and they'll inject it with baking soda. You literally watch it shrivel up before your eyes. And it's alkaline. Sickness cannot thrive in alkaline or oxygen. So, like the food-grade hydrogen peroxide, if you get the right proportion, will oxygenate your blood and help you flush out any disease, bacteria. So oxygen, carbon, iron, and energy is really what the body craves. Carbon is very important, and the oxygen. You know, we need oxygen in our blood. You know, it's life. It's life. So I don't know if I added the things, but a lot of those things are alkaline in its nature, that we need to literally create a new system once everything goes down and we get back control with the people. We need an alkaline-based system, economy or ecosystem based on natural law. Natural law. That nature should come first, because nothing can survive, without oxygen. We're killing off the oceans. Killing off the oceans on purpose. Look at that. What was it? That oil spill that was in New Mexico, and then natural ways to absorb it. I think they were going to use hay, some type of hay or something like that, and then BP came in and sprayed all these chemicals on purpose. And next thing you know, they're using alchemy. These dark cabal or whoever they are is using alchemy. So literally, they created something toxic, and people are getting tumors on the coast and cancer, and you name it, just from what they had sprayed mixed with the oil. The oil's supposed to be in the ground. So then they're polluting the oceans, which provides oxygen to all the plants in the ocean. It's like the tropics. If we go into rainfall, it's a lot of oxygen. Well, above so below. So we all come from the waters of the wombs of our mother. So we need that. That embryonic water contains what? Sodium. Salt. I'm trying to touch bases on that sodium, because it's very important. Very, very important. I mean, elephants go hundreds, if not thousands of miles to get salt. You can see goats on the side of cliffs, or even like I watched a video where these two goats, a mother and its baby, had gone on the side of a dam. I don't know what dam it was, but literally it looked impossible. And what were they going for? They needed salt. Salt keeps you hydrated. It's the most vital mineral in the world. And a lot of, like sea salt, if you're getting sea salt, it could be containing a lot of radiation because of what they're doing to, all the oil spills in Fukushima, and what they're doing to our oceans on purpose. Mm-hmm. On purpose. So they're killing off the dolphins, which, if we're talking about frequency, dolphins, porpoises, any of those aquatic animals, which are very more intelligent than we are, probably our ancient ancestors, if you think about it, they put off a rainbow frequency, literally all chakras put into one. So their harmonics vibrates the water, keeps it nice and, vibratory. Well, they start killing them off. What starts really happening to the vibration of the oceans? Because the clouds come from the oceans, come from the water, So in a sense, we're all clouds, so we need that. So I had touched bases on the LRAD before, and Dr. Barry Trower has talked about these vibratory or whatever weapons being used by the Navy. We were talking about the Navy before. But we also have touched base on that. But also, like, we're talking about mind control, but there's also. Are you there?
Yeah, I'm there.
Okay, I just make sure my phone didn't die.
Yeah, we listening.
Huh?
Okay, yeah. We're also touching bases on actually people. Not only is it a mind control, but it's a kill program. This is actually a kill program. Slow kill. We're being radiated. People are being dosed 24 hours a day with radiation. You know what I mean? So, like, not only are we getting radiation from the sun because they've put holes in the ozone with HAARP, and now the sun's killing us, part of it, but we're getting radiation from this, and cell phone towers are being used as weapons. I mean, they're deadly. They are microwave weapons. Each and every cell phone tower is a weapon. Dr. Barry Trower has touched on that also. It's called the cooking of humanity. The cooking of humanity. So once you realize that these smart meters are actually connected to cell phone towers, to satellites, it's going to be the first planet with rings of debris of satellites, the first planet that we know of with junk. You know what I mean? So it's crazy, and I don't know if Ann had tuned in. I had called her, and I had visited her in Chicago with a lady named Lisa Becker, and she had shown me pictures, and literally I had seen she had marks on her head, on her chest, and her feet, and it I can't even describe what I had felt, because it was the most evil I have ever come across. And this is a human rights issue. This is not only it's not only just testing, but this is a human rights issue. This is something that needs to be brought forth to the world, to the UN, whatever world stage it needs to be. Kind of like they have a world. A few nations have an arrest warrant for the Bushes and Cheneys. They can't step foot there. International arrest warrant. So how, if this is affecting people, I know people in India, a woman in India is being targeted. I know a young lady who's I forgot where, she's somewhere farther in Europe. She's hearing voices targeted. Mexico. So this is a worldwide stage, and how, if it's this secretive, how do we bring it to the forefront of the world, not just America, because Americans don't listen. Americans don't like to listen. We're waking up, but a lot of them don't care. If it don't affect them, they don't give a damn. They don't give a damn. They'll just turn on the TV and say, it's not affecting me. And
right.
What should I care? It's not my problem, and people just don't care about one another anymore. So how do we just get it to that forefront and say, whether you like it or not, this is going to affect you in the future. This is meant for you, meant for everybody. Mm-hmm. Not only us, but animals. They've tested this on animals and insects. They have a thing where they put a brain implant on a cockroach that flies. Literally, they turn this cockroach into like a flying airplane. It could control its nervous system and fly it in its means. So that's the total means of total control of the human organism, of the mind, of the body. I hope I didn't go off basis there.
And that's true indeed. And when you're talking about the frequencies too, Corey, I mean, we have to look at the EMS. The electromagnetic fields, for example, the power lines, the home wiring, like I was talking about, with the smart meter, the transformers, the radios, the televisions, the mobile cell phones, the cordless phones, the microwaves, like I was talking about earlier, computers and other electrical appliances. I don't think it's coincidence that all of these appliances oscillates at 60 hertz. And in your cellular structure, each cell oscillates about 100 hertz. And when it gets down to 60 hertz, you go into a disease state. So really, we are basically, light-starved in a sense. We know that you have to get at least, allegedly, 20 minutes to an hour of sunlight a day, but like you said, the fact that they these solar winds, some say, but then others say that it was monofluorocarbons from aerosol cans, in which that depleted the ozone. At least that's what they was telling me when I was in junior high. I thought it was BS then, and I still think it's BS. But basically what light-starved symptoms do, it causes depression, fatigue, irritability, lowered immune functions, even suicidal thoughts. So we have to increase the vitamin D because oftentimes we're deficient in vitamin D, and it causes also seasonal afflictive disorder. And it, from what I've studied, neurohormonal transmitter disruption. You know, so we know when we look at the human body, the human anatomy, we're talking about each portion of the body oscillates at a specific frequency. Like, for example, the brain frequency ranges between 72 to 90 megahertz. The average brain oscillates around 72, but a genius brain gets up to around 90. You know, the human body itself oscillates around 62 to 78 megahertz. You know, if you're looking at the neck up, it oscillates around 72 to 78 megahertz. The neck down, 60 to 68 megahertz. And then your specific endocrine glands, we're talking about like the thyroid, the parathyroid glands, which is your throat chakra, oscillates around 62 to 68 megahertz. The thymus gland, 65 to 68. The heart, 67 to 70. The lungs, 58 to 65 megahertz. The liver, 55 to 60 megahertz. The pancreas, 60 to 80 megahertz. You know, so when we're looking at this, we have to realize is that as these frequencies get lower, like, for example, disease starts at 58 megahertz. All right? So your lungs can still be functioning, as you heard. Your liver can still be functioning, but you're in a diseased state. Right. You know, even candidas, it starts at 55 megahertz. And a person who's receptive to cancer, it starts at 42 megahertz. And death begins at 25 megahertz. So we have to understand that our body is based on frequency. That's what we are. We are a vibratory being. And we just don't have a human body or a physical body. We have an emotional body. We have an ethereal body, or what's called the emotional body is the astral body. We have a mental body, you know, a causal body, a spiritual body, a soul body. And this is what we have to realize, you know, that we're more than just, you know, a physical being. You know, everybody remember the songs, we're only human, flesh and blood of man. Everybody remember that joint, you know? Right. Like, come on. We're more than just that, you know? And we have to realize it, and we have to use every aspect of these bodies to vibrate at a higher frequency in order to avoid what is taking place right now, and what, as we are saying, will take place in the future. And people have to pay attention, you know, because your sanity may rely upon this information. We also have a phone call from area code 267. Area code 267. You're on the line.
Hi, how are you?
Peace.
Hey, how you doing?
Oh, well, not good. I'm a targeted individual, and I just want to kind of give you experience. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Yes, we can. Loud and clear.
Okay, I just want to kind of tell you about some of the physical pains that I'm experiencing and some of the things that I've been going through. Part of this is, you know, they do what you call something called a lot of gang stalking. I'm in the Philadelphia area, and it started a couple years ago, and it's been going on, and it just has, like, increased. And, you know, as soon as I come outside of my house, everywhere I go, you know, I have people following me. They come out their house the same time. They shoot weapons at me from their cell phones. I have these planes that just constantly are circling my house. And I don't know, you know, I have satellites also. These little satellites come up at a certain time every night wherever I'm at. Like, I go from my mom's house to my I go from my mom's apartment to the house that I live in, and then sometimes I have to actually walk the streets at night in Philadelphia because the pain is so bad. These satellites, whatever they are doing, they shoot things into my house or into the apartment, and it causes me so much pain. And I have, like, burns all over my feet. They burn my arms. I have flames coming out of my legs. They burn my head. And they get me when I walk down the street. The planes, they just follow me wherever I go, like 24 hours, 7 days a week. It's like a whole bunch of, it's like 4 different planes. And if I go out in the yard, like sometimes I go out and I try to stick my feet in the dirt, the earth, to try to get rid of some of the, whatever this electric radiation or whatever these microwaves they're putting in me, the planes and these black helicopters will just come around and shoot stuff at me, and they'll just harass me wherever I'm at. And it's to the point where I just walk the streets at night trying to find an area where I can just kind of shield my body from the pain. And then I have, as soon as I come out, like I have the 19th District Police, they'll come out, the Center City Police, they'll sit all in lines, you know. It's like they surveillance my house. I don't know if they, you know, when I'm not there, and then when my mom's apartment is surveilled. Soon, wherever I do, they're on it. They're on this phone. They chip me. As soon as I come out the back of my mom's apartment, it's like you can hear the sounds of. It sounds like planes. I've seen something. What's those? Some kind of. I don't know the name. I can't get the name of them, but some type of black flying objects, you know, that be coming over my house. They'll shoot stuff at me. I can't go anywhere. And this is coming straight from the state of Pennsylvania. This is coming from different representatives. They know exactly what's happening. And I have went and I have put in complaints after complaints after complaints. And nobody's helping me. You know, they have turned my whole neighborhood against me, all my neighbors. You know, yeah, it's real bad. I mean, I'm just like, I got holes all over my body. My skin is all like got brown circles all over me. They constantly traumatize me with the gang stalking. You know, people, you know, walking. Every time I come out my door, it's the same thing. They'll sit in cars. It's just around the clock gang stalking and these weapons that they're using around the clock. It just don't stop. Right now, you know, I received a call from Gloria. I've been crying for almost like 2 days. I cry so much I can't even cry no more because of the pain I'm in. And I can't, you know, I have no help. You know, I can't get out to the market. I can't do anything because I got a team of people, like an army of people on me, including police officers. They come out the same time. Like, and I never had a problem with any type of police. I don't have a criminal background. I don't have a record. I never did anything to anybody. And all of a sudden, you know, they do it to my pets. You know, my pets, they do it to my children. They make them have stomach aches, you know, and they constantly burn me in my stomach. It's really happening. It's real. And I can't, and it has me to the point where I can't go to work. They would come to my job. They would fly these planes over top of the job that I was working at, and whatever they shoot in, they shoot it in at me. And there was a man. He said, "Yeah, it's a plane sitting over top of there." He said, "What is that?" I said, I wouldn't explain it to him, but it's like a chip or something is in me. And as soon as I move, these things move. You know, these planes, these satellites, and an army of people move. You know, with the cell phone or without. I can hear it when I step out the back of my mom's apartment. I'm in West Philly. You can hear satellite come on. You hear all these different sounds, planes. And first I thought that they're like putting in sound. You know, I understand that they know how to project sound and they can put these holograms. No, these are planes. I have a picture of them. These are real aircrafts, and they're real smart. They go in and out of the clouds.
Right.
They're real strategic. But I can hear them, and other people can hear them. You have to have good perception. And I have really good awareness. I'm really aware of my environment. I don't know why I'm so perceptive like that. but I can see and feel things all around me, and I can see all these different people behaving this type of way. They make sure that I see it. They plot it and plan it out. They use a lot of psychological games. They use a lot of mind control, and it's horrible, you know. And the things that they do is beyond human. He's talking about human rights. The things they done to me is beyond cruelty. I mean, it's beyond. It's beyond.
You're right about
I have no.
You're right about those airplanes and those black helicopters. When I had first met Dr. Alim, and we had went to the Y to work out, I told him I have have helicopters that follow me and airplanes. And him and Kadira, Dr. Alim and Kadira, had witnessed that firsthand. They followed us over an hour near his house. You remember that, Alim? You there, Alim?
Yes, I do. Yes.
You remember that day? There were three of them.
Yes, I do. Right.
Well, I've seen them too. I've seen them too. Yes. I've seen them when I was on my job. I've seen them when I was walking the street on my way to my job. This was about I would say 20 years ago. That was before I got involved in anything political, but I was a member of the Nation of Islam at the time.
They won't stop.
I have heard
they harass
black
me.
Helicopters. Oh, go ahead.
Black helicopter. No markings on them or not. No markings nowhere. Just plain
I have heard
black.
that they have like infrared, like they have heat. They have everything. They're equipped with everything they need. Infrared, radar, so much. You wouldn't even believe it. A young lady had told me this when I had worked at Walmart, because they had a lot of stuff happened at Walmart because Walmart is in with Homeland Security. When you sign when you sign up for whatever it may be after you get hired, you gotta sign like for taxes and everything, and it's right out under Homeland Security, and Homeland Security is one of the ones who are up to no good with this stuff. So they have boxes in there that listen, and I mean they hear everything. They hear everything. So when I had started working there, that's when the military had started following me, and I had noticed these black helicopters following me. When I went to James Walbert's house, he's a fellow TI. I had a black helicopter follow me from my house 3 hours. It had followed me, and I got lost. And it was 2:00 in the morning, and this black helicopter came right out of nowhere. 3 times this happened, right out of nowhere, about 50 feet above my car, and literally just stopped me in my tracks, and I thought I was going to have a heart attack. So they have something in there, some type of radar weapon, some type of sound weapon, or whatever it may be, that literally they can just blast your car, blast whatever it is, your household. I had talked to a friend of mine, one old friend. He's not a friend anymore, but had told me how his brother was in the military, and they used to use his garage like with these helicopters for targets. So I don't know what they had in the garage, but they would use it as a target for practice. So there's a possibility they're even using human beings, for practice with this target, because they bring these black helicopters to Iraq, Iran, wherever they're needed. I don't know if I touched bases with the Iraq war, but you can look it up. They use these weapons in Iraq on the people, buses and people, documented cases. I mean, how much would it cost? This lady over here is being driven to the point she's probably suicidal, like a lot of us. So how much does it cost for the government to follow us with the black helicopter, with these personal airplanes? We must be worth a lot of money. And
we are. It's sickening. They hit me every day, all day. I cannot take care of my children or anything. And I don't want to go out with my kids because I'm afraid they're going to hit them with it. They make them sick all the time. They shoot me. I come out the house this morning to come to try to help my child, and my whole head heated up. Here come the helicopter, and whatever it is, it follows me to this apartment, sits over the apartment, and shoot things in at me all day and all night, and burn me to the point where I have to leave out of here and walk the streets all night. And still have gangs of people after me, shooting things at me. The helicopters are still coming around. I can't go anywhere. I can't do anything. I can't help myself. I can't help my kids.
Do you know why they target you?
I don't know what I did to deserve anything like this. I don't know. It started in South Philly. I was living in South Philly, and all of a sudden, all these people came up on me. And they ran me out my apartment in South Philly, and then I moved back to West Philly, and they created this. Everywhere I go, they create the same scenario with the gang stalking. And all these people look like they were agents. They were FBI, they were police, and then they go and then they get other people from the neighborhood to participate in it. All kinds of people, children, teenagers. All races, all socioeconomic backgrounds to participate in this.